All right, guys, we're back in here and we are starting the process. The base trim has been removed going all the way around, and it has staples in it in certain places, but the screws and the staples, they've used the staples in the manufacturing process so they have time to come back around and put the trim piece in. We have Daniel right now underneath the RV, and we are taking out the rivets. So as I explained to you before in the other video, this thing has got a heavy coat of 2.5 inches to 3 inches of this foam and a rubberized undercoating on it. So it's still in pretty decent shape. We don't want to destroy that. So what he's doing right now is removing all the rivets.
I got this piece right here I gotta take off to access the outriggers, which is held on with rivets with a 3/16 drill bit.
So he's using a 3/16 drill bit, and you'll see here, there is the, let me get that focus there. There's the rivet hole there. There's a rivet that he hasn't drilled out yet, and another one, and they weren't shy about using lots of rivets along the bottom of this. Holiday Rambler will use a lot of hardware. So as it sits right now, he's working from the front to the back so we can drop this panel down, and then when we drop the panel down, we'll be able to pull it out with the staples that showed you there in the beginning. So as it sits, the rest of the trailer is being slowly but surely disassembled out here. This piece here will just easily pop up. Those staples are not hard to get out, and the screws, what few of them might have broke, they'll remain, but the rest of it, as you see, will just come off. It's pretty flexible right now, and our goal is to remove this lower sheet out. So there's going to be a lower sheet completely gone, and we figured out how to just use wedges to try to raise this up and work in a stage of trying to get it leveled out to replace that damaged part of the floor, which in this one's case, even though that's got a little discoloration, that's from glue. Everything from the trailer's main beam back is just gone. The way it was built, it allowed the water to weep in and destroy this outer edge out here. And the other thing is they use actual fiberglass in there. We pulled it out of there, but they used fiberglass, which just soaks the water up. That doesn't allow it to drain out and dry. So there we go there. I'll show you this bottom end once we get it out. If you consider this to the other video, you'll see how we are getting access and getting all of this out of the trailer. And we're gonna have a 3/4 piece about 20 inches wide all the way across the back to do leveling and build the rest of the floor as soon as we get those sections in and finished. All right, we've got the fender wells tore out right now. We've got the sidewall panels removed, as you can see here, and the rear has been cut across to the beam, and the bottom is floating. We've got a big rot spot right here, so I've got to go back to right in here and to the outrigger. There is an outrigger underneath this screw. So we have the line drawn right here, and what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and we've set the saw using this. This is what's so handy about these little Black & Deckers. They have the markings on it for you to set your saw's depth. So set the saw depth. We're going to cut it by running it right along top of the line and just shallow enough to where we don't cut 100% through, about 95%. We're going to go ahead and do a plunge on the line. Now you notice here in the back it's just a little bit soft. This ain't rotted through, and it's still solid. It's mainly this last 5 or 6 inches out here that's really bad. So we're going to finish this cut, and I'll show you the opening with this resting on the remaining amount here, because I'm going to just beat it through with a hammer. All right, now once we've scored that line all the way down almost to the metal of the beam is running right here for the trailer's beam underneath the wood, and they used a auto start screw or a self-tapping screws to go into the steel that's on here. But as you can see here, we're just going to break it away, and I can see by the screws right here, right where that one's at, I can see that there is an outrigger there, so I'm not going to try to damage it with this kind of hammer. This is a 25 ounce. I know that's crazy, but that's a 25 ounce framing hammer. And the purpose of what we're doing is, you see the wall is still being held up by this down here, by that outrigger that's underneath it. This is the outrigger that you can see underneath it there. And the cut leaves just enough right here, shallow, that we have to grind away and clean up. We're also going to strengthen this whole trailer up by welding on additional outriggers. I've got a box of these, and we're going to add some in places where the span is a pretty good distance. All right, hey guys, we've got the lumber loaded in, and we're going to start the process of stripping it out inside, putting those boards in. Now, right now, Daniel's setting up his weld. We've got outriggers going in out here, and she has just finished pulling out the last of the carriage bolts out of there. If you'll look over here, it's a huge span of 5.5, almost 6 feet across this body right here. And we're going to also put a set of outriggers here and there to beef up, sorry about that, the smoke's causing the blur there, to beef up the outside, and we're going to send it all the way out, but they'll be coming out and actually welded to the bumper right here. So using 2x2 angle, we're going to just shoot that all the way under, and then when we put the plywood back on, we'll lower the body down on it, and it'll have more strength, and it'll have those pieces coming out, and they'll just attach to this bumper. Now the bumper is only 1/8 inch thick, so we have to be careful welding that. But the fender wells over here, we're going to be using those big pieces of 4x1 3/4 red metal that came from a Harbor Freight trailer. And that is just, you know, their structural beam, so it's not super thick. It's 3/16 for a fender well. This side of the trailer, the previous owners did not destroy, so we're going to just use it and box it in with plywood and insulate it. It didn't get any damage to it. As it sits right now, when he gets done with this over here, you know what, guys, y'all really ought to teach your kids how to do this kind of stuff. This kid's 11 years old, and when she's cutting all the boards right now for the filler boards that have to go in, the best thing you can do is get a project like this and bring your kids in on it and teach them how to do it. That's what I do right here. I teach them how to do this stuff. So safety first, proper helmet, proper gear, proper everything. Make sure they're doubled. He actually wearing double pants there. And she, of course, stays away from his weld. Don't let your kids look at a weld. Not a good idea. All right, guys, here we go. Process is happening. Not too shabby. All right, guys, the welding's all done and the wood is in. You'll see this huge plank sitting right here, 4x8 sheet. The plywood is in, and the additional outriggers have been installed, including over here on this side. You can see the little line right over there. Everything welded up all the way around. Taking a single large sheet, we cut it in one piece. That gives you a lot more overall strength, and since we're going to be going across the entire top of this with 1/2 inch, the whole inside of this trailer will be done 1/2 inch on top of the existing after we put a good paint coating on it to create more of a barrier. And we had to use a little bit of a gap here to be able to get this in, because of the way that we fit it in. So what we did is we just took and put a couple of boards on the roof, and using 2 2x4s, like a set of scissors, we hammered the base in and raised it like that, just like that, so that we lifted the trailer up. Didn't take much. This is only 3/4 inch, so yeah, the replacement board there, and you'll see there's markings for an outrigger there, markings there, and of course that one down there. And we added pieces across right here, angle iron. I'll show you that. And that piece right there, when we put the foam back in, will get filled in. The floor will be foamed in. So we have angle going out to the bumper. Just scrap pieces of angle I had. And that supports the floor in here more than it had before. before it was literally a full span with nothing, literally nothing, but the 2x2 that was running across here. That was it. That was its entire support on top of OSB. Not very good. So we really strengthened it up. And that stuff there is glue. That is an adhesive, that powdery residue. It's for the vinyl that was on there. It's not rot. All the rot has been removed. We've gone back about 4 inches further than the rot we found. So the next step is the fender wells. That'll be the next video. We'll see you guys on the next video. This is the project cargo trailer out of old Holiday Rambler.